Welcome out, everybody, to the Golden Boys podcast. We're here. We're back in the space. We've been away for some days, but now we're back live and direct in the old... I forget the zip code for this area.
46131.
46131, baby.
But you got
131.
You got to add in the extra ones at the end that the post office uses.
Oh yeah, dash 19er. Did I hear a niner in that?
You sound like you're repping that area code, but you don't even live here.
Nope, not at all. I live in the 47448,
baby. Shoot. Check out this setup. Good job, guys.
Oh, did we actually start?
Yes, I just kicked us off.
Yeah. Hey, Jordan,
I thought
pay attention.
Important. Not
How's the sound over
You'll
there?
have to excuse my friend. He's a little slow.
Oh, crap. Yeah, check this setup out. Thrown together. Looks good. Thanks, boys, for doing that, making it look good.
Yeah, we're showcasing these murals because you guys don't get to see them as much as you used to.
That's correct.
And, I put my time and effort into them.
That he did. And so much that we covered one up with paper rolls.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see that in the shot. But
Not really, but don't worry about it. They get it.
But it in my
It had to
mind,
go
I know
somewhere.
it's there. So,
Yeah. But yeah, we got some new folks on this podcast, and I'm excited to let you guys,
yeah, I don't think we've done a face reveal for that guy over there.
This guy right here.
This
Zach.
one.
Yeah.
Yes.
The intern.
Yes.
It's right here. This is my face.
We actually have, but he had a backpack vacuum on, and he was like extended over the press.
The Ghostbusters.
And you could see his face.
It was a weird shot. I thought it was a good picture, but
Yeah.
And then, Corey's been very discreet on his back's turned, so I'm going to take a photo.
Yeah.
Who's that guy in the corner?
Well, we got so gung-ho in the past with showing people, and then they'd show up, and then they'd leave, and then they'd come back, and then they'd leave.
Yeah,
That
Josh,
And
Liv.
that other chick.
My sister-in-law hates you, just so you know. She really does. No.
It's okay.
But yeah, we got Zach. He came in on kind of a apprenticeship, and then came in at that perfect time to just help out. When you go auto, you need a lot of extra hands, and I've actually stolen him away from Walmart for 2 days now, a week.
Yeah.
So
3 days.
3 days. See, I'll just thanks Zach for being the man. Zach comes in and works a free day, which is really cool because he wants to be around us. He wants to learn what we do, and that alone is just giving me pumps me up that someone would offer their time to hang out with us and help out wherever he can. And then Zach had a nice text message from me one day. It's like, hey man, what time do you get off work? And he goes, 4. I was like, hey, you want to come fold some shirts?
Was that Queen's Head order?
No, that was a Sparrow Sleeves, the onesies.
I think I ended up working that night, and then I worked at Walmart the next day. And then the day after that was supposed to be my day off. And you were like, yeah, do you want to come in again? And I was like, I can.
Yeah, but Walmart, what day did you go in?
It was a Wednesday, and I wake up at 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
I had worked till 4 at Walmart. And then I get a text from Jonathan being like, hey man, how late can you come in? Or how late can you stay? I was like, well, I have to work at Walmart tomorrow, so I have to go to sleep at 10, so I can be there till 9:30.
Yeah.
So I worked like a 14-hour day.
Yeah.
It was
Funny
hey,
story.
I got paid for it though.
Yeah.
Funny story. Right after I started here, so I live in Columbus, and I met Zach, and then a few days later, I feel like I saw him at Walmart in Columbus when we were grocery shopping, and he was working.
Did you?
And he walked by me. He's like, "Hey, dude," and just kept on walking.
I was working.
That's a typical Zach
I did a double, and he had headphones in or something, but I did a double take.
You said
and
something.
I was like, was that the dude I work with now? You know what I mean? Like,
I remember what you said because
I was like, why are you in Columbus?
I'm not going to get into the nitty gritty of how Walmart works, but I was in an express run, which essentially means you had to go fast. I was on the run, and I was like, oh shoot, that's Tracy. Hey guys, as you and your wife, and you're like, oh, hey, bro. And I just kept moving. And I was like, well, I'm going to
So good.
Because in my mind, I was like, I'm going to see him tomorrow. It's not going to be like, oh, and I'll never see him again. It was I'll just see him tomorrow.
Literally, you were like pushing, something.
It was my cart.
Yeah, pushing your cart, and then like we just walked right by each other in the aisle. You were like, "Hey, dude," and just like kept on walking the same speed, and I was like, you know what I mean? Just it was weird.
Oh, I can picture that so good.
Working
That's
at
awesome.
Walmart, you do that so many times a day where you're like, oh, I see this person that I know that's either not on the clock or doesn't even work here, and I don't have the time to say hi.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, either
So
I
he just
ignore them,
doesn't.
I ignore them, and
just-
then they see me and they think it's rude, or I go up and say hi and then I leave really quickly and they think it's rude. So typically I just
sounds
try
like
to
a
avoid.
win-win.
But the issue was I
Basically.
saw you from like 30 yards away and I was like, well, that's where I'm trying to go, and I can't like avoid and try to not be rude by like
See,
avoiding him.
there's some context that makes sense.
Listen,
But
that's how it goes.
and so we got our Zeki boy is what I call him, and then we got our good old buddy, old pal Tracy Scott,
Yeah, the Tracy Scott.
the
Tattooer
tattooer
extraordinaire.
Wings
of
of a
Golden
Martyr.
Press Studio. He's and the other person that's missing is his wife, Liz.
We tried.
Yeah.
We tried. The guys told, were you on the phone with her the other day? The guys were like, man, Tracy's so mad. Just yelling at Liz.
He wasn't yelling. He just came in and he was like, it's not like you're the face of your business or anything.
Yeah, that was my one. So obviously she's not one to like.
Yeah.
I think anytime you talk into a mic for the first time, if you're recording, if you've ever been in a band, like you don't
Yeah.
like your own voice type of thing.
For
You
sure.
don't like how you look on camera, all these things.
All of the
And
above.
so that's what she was feeling as far as like, I don't really want to necessarily be on a podcast.
Yeah.
Because we were trying to find a day that worked for her too. And she's like, no, don't worry
It's
about it.
okay. You go.
Yeah.
Have fun. No,
Yeah.
but we love Liz. I told her that it's okay that she's not on this one, but I'm going to be aggressive to get her on like the next one.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah.
Would have been a bit weird to have 7 people on the podcast, though.
Why? Something new, man. Something new.
I think it was already hard enough for Jordan and Jared to set this up.
She's
No,
gonna make us all
easy.
look bad because she's so
We're
hot.
chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're just going to be a bunch of dudes and then, Liz,
Yeah.
Some pink-haired, tatted chick.
pink hair tad chick. But yeah, I got my crew here. This is awesome. Miss doing podcasts is good night.
Yeah. Oh, I'm Corey. Also, by the way, if you didn't
you don't
watch
know
the
who
first
this
4
joker is.
episodes,
Yeah, you did kind of jump off, didn't
yeah,
you?
I've not been on an episode in a long time, and it's okay.
What have you been doing, Corey?
What I've been doing is making money for the company.
There it is.
Yeah.
Just waiting for the answer. I love you. Thanks, man. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, I do what I can.
and not podcasting.
Not podcasting because it's bringing
Waste
in
of
the
time.
invoices while they're talking to people.
While everybody's goofing off.
We also have Jordan on the podcast today.
Here's Jordan.
Here's Jordan.
He was on 1,
2.
2. I didn't watch it.
Yeah.
Then we got Jared boy. Hey,
Yeah.
Jared. Hey, man.
Back from the dead.
Back from
I don't know if he was.
kind
died?
of true.
Felt like it.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah. I was
That was
on,
like a solid couple weeks you weren't
it
feeling.
was about a month. It was about a month that
Actually,
I couldn't
probably a month and a half.
couldn't
of
breathe.
just-
It was coughing up my lungs.
There was one point where Corey was like, "Yeah, Jared's just always sick. Like he's always got some sort of thing up here." And he's
Seeing
just
it
coughing."
really pisses me off when people say that because I'm not always sick. Well, I'm tired of hearing it.
Dude,
I was just
Zach-
sick for one long time.
Zach is a freaking instigator, dude.
He is. He's always trying to just start crap.
Did you hear what Corey said about John?
Oh no! Tell me.
Well, we could go back to who got Jared sick.
It could have been a number of people.
Yeah, dude.
I know.
He has a child that hangs out with all kinds of other sick children.
Yeah, it's safest to just blame it all on the kid.
Yeah, all children are
Yeah.
sick constantly.
Yeah, they just pass that
They're little
stuff
petri
around.
dishes.
Oh, my,
It pro-
germs.
It probably didn't have anything to do with the fact that Corey was really sick right before that and then came to work.
Yeah, but
But-
I probably got it from
From my child?
from residual. It like bounced on you.
Oh, you're gonna
popped over to
blame
me.
you're gonna blame my kid?
You think I see children that see other children?
Your kids are loners.
We keep them in the house.
They don't
Back
go
room.
Out. They don't go out the door. This podcast is sponsored by F&. Why give a chunk of your hard-earned dollars to ink monopolies? Your income deserves to stay in your pockets. Not only does F&, cost less than the standard plastisol ink, but it also works just as effectively, if not better. The low cure ink is short-bodied and creamy, making it extremely easy to work with. The 15 ready-to-use colors can be pulled straight from the bucket or used to make custom colors, since it also doubles as a mixing system. That's not all. With F&Ink's 8 new specialty inks and additives, a printer's only limit is their creativity. Put your foot down. Take a stand against plastisol ink prices with F&Ink. Head to fn.ink to learn more. Back to the podcast. Yeah, it's good. It's good to be back. This next year, we got some lofty goals of just podcasting a lot more. Hopefully get some new sponsors on here. You know who you are if you're listening.
Gatorade.
Should we just name them all so that if they don't know who they are, now they know?
Then they can send us emails.
Yeah,
Yes.
We're hoping to get the Pittsburgh Pirates sponsoring us.
They don't have the money to do anything.
Send us a couple $100 to mention them on the podcast. That's it.
Yeah. Liquid
Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah.
Sponsored by Raid.
What's the headphone company? The Raycons?
Raycon.
Phillips.
We've also got sponsored by NordVPN,
There it is.
of course.
Or these stands Gator.
Yeah, Gator Frameworks.
Yep.
Not real sponsors, Jonathan.
Oh, sorry.
Gosh.
Yeah. You know who you are. I'm not even going to mention your name. I'm
Yeah.
just going to put
Zune.
some pressure on you.
Apple.
Yeah.
Do they do sponsorships?
Just gonna
Microsoft.
keep naming companies.
They're like, no, everyone who's anyone uses our products anyway.
Yeah, there's no way. I don't think anyone's sponsored by Apple at all.
Well,
Probably not.
yeah.
They were
probably
like, bad
not.
business model. Let's not do that.
Influence. They definitely have some influencers, though.
Oh, never mind.
Don't worry. You going to talk bad about influencers?
No, I was going to say something that would probably get us in trouble.
Let's
Good
not
job.
say
Let's
it.
go to
Good
the
job.
close-up then.
I don't know which camera.
By the way, we have 4 cameras, 4K.
It's actually in 1080.
Oh,
Dang it. I didn't.
It's okay.
Cut
My
that.
eyes can't tell the difference.
Yeah.
Mine can.
that's like 4,000 Ps.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, it adds up to like 4K, right?
I'll show you 4,000 Ps.
Jared, please do that laugh.
Don't worry, we're going to bleep that out. Okay, let's move on.
Shoot. Yeah, boys. What's up? What's up? Let's talk. Let's talk about something.
We are doing kind of like a wrap-up episode. This is like our final episode of the year. Hoping to get it up on December 31st.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
So we'll see if that happens.
That's a neat day.
Yeah.
It's neat.
So that's the goal, is to get it up soon. But yeah, we just had the idea to do like kind of this wrap-up thing and talk about things we've done this year. Introduce some new people.
newbies.
And I think maybe that's a great place to start, is let's talk about
Who the freak these guys are.
who they are, what are they doing, how are we implementing these new sections into the business.
Yeah.
Should you guys rock, paper, scissors? Who goes first? Or
Tracy could take it.
cool. Looks like
Alright.
he's the alpha.
What do you guys want to know? My name's Tracy Scott.
Yeah.
What are you about? What do you do? What do you do with those hands?
Print shirts.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
That's why he's here.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, it's been a wild ride, man.
Yeah, it has.
Dude, like from where we're at right now to when I started this company like 6-7 years ago,
Get the heck out of here.
I mean, you guys got to realize the humble beginnings. Like it was me and Corey in my garage.
He freaking knows the story.
I was cleaning screens in my bathtub, running hoses from inside my house. I mean, Like you do what you got to do, and then now it's just paid off, man.
Just washing windows and everything.
I have all these employees. I owned a window business, but I hired other people to do it because that's what bosses do. So
Damn right.
so yeah,
Frick. Dang.
and then I started tattooing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm a tattooer, everyone. We are now tattooing at Golden Press Studio.
In the old front room.
Yeah,
Old front room that looks freaking awesome.
it does.
It's like,
Everyone just thinks it's like such a cool vibe when they come in.
yeah. Well, it's like what I always wanted that front room to somewhat be. Like, I wanted to be retail at one point and this and that, but like looking at it now, it's like, that's how it's supposed to look. Like, just cool. As soon as you walk in.
I mean, we originally had an idea of having the bar up against the window. I feel like we
did.
talked about that was an option, and now it is an option.
Yeah.
And now people sit there, like Jonathan and Tracy
And me.
Liz, and
Yep.
Zach even.
I sit there more than Tracy would like, but it's fine.
If
Yeah,
no one-
I like you sitting there.
yeah.
Good.
I like the company.
Good.
If no one shows up to work on a day, I'll go sit up there
Yeah.
because I like the sunlight.
Instead of this bat cave of a dungeon.
Which is funny because the room with all the sunlight before, where you guys were podcasting, you turned into the dungeon.
Yeah, well,
Literally the bat cave. Like
Yeah.
blacked it out.
that's Jared's doing. He loves the darkness.
No. But yeah, our front space looks sweet. People are starting to acknowledge that this is tattoo shop, man.
Yeah, we got a little sign, little A-frame sign we sit out front.
Yeah, little chalkboard, cute sign.
Yeah,
Get some signage up this year.
I was gonna say we need to get a real sign.
Oh, I know.
So how long you been tattooing for?
Let's see, January will be 2 years.
If you haven't seen his stuff, I'll just tell you, go look at his and his wife's stuff. They're
dude, for real.
for how long they've been tattooing, it's just insane.
That's
Yeah.
Golden Press Tattoo on Instagram.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tracy, he does black and gray realism in the best kind of way, you know,
the best kind of. That's awesome.
using that I don't know what curved mags.
Yeah. Yep. And then Liz, she let's see, she started, it might have been 4 or 5 months after I did. We apprenticed at the same place.
Oh, nice.
So she's a little under 2 years, but she likes doing kind of all sorts of style, more illustrative stuff.
Yeah, hers is
It-
almost like neo.
I would almost classify it as that. It sometimes it's hard to classify stuff. Like it
Yeah.
just falls into your custom drawing style,
Right.
however you design stuff. So
But dude, I've been extremely impressed with her stuff. Like, I feel like her like all the coloring super packed in, like really clean, all the lines. Like I feel like I don't know. Again, like she just like she likes to chill in the background. She doesn't like to be in the front of everything. But I feel like it's like, dude, your stuff's super sick. Like,
I just love
you
it.
should be like promoting this like heavy because people need to see how clean and fresh all your. She did a sick Mando tattoo.
I saw it. It's very
Yeah.
good.
So good.
Yeah, I just like the fact that you like post like one of her tattoos on a story one day. I'm like, oh man, that's really good. And then you post another one. And I'm like, that is like not even close to the same like just style or whatever. It's just like literally it's like night and day. And I'm like, dang it, like you're freaking so good. So that's
Well, isn't her tattoo account private right now?
it was, and then she told me that it was, like when she figured it out. I don't think she realized, and I was like, you need to change that immediately.
Yeah, because I went to
Like,
follow
'cause-
her and I was like, oh, I have to wait.
Yeah, like because I think a creative account like that,
That is the worst decision.
if
to
you
a
don't have
private
the
account.
person, you'll go to their profile and you can't even view it until you request. And
Right.
like with tattoos, people need to look at your work before they decide to follow you.
Yeah.
So I was like,
Or if they want to get
goodness
tattooed
sakes.
by you or anything.
I think I said that to Corey was as soon as you guys came here, I was trying to follow you guys and I looked at Golden Press Tattoo and it had her name in there, so I clicked it and it just said, private page. I was like, I want to see her art because
For the last year and a half, like, can you imagine how much bigger of a following there would be?
Yeah.
If
again, you don't know.
But we
you
had
don't
no
know.
idea.
Right.
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. It's really cool. We got a cool setup.
A real fun fact that Jonathan always likes to hire employees that have multiple skill sets.
That I do.
Something else
that Jonathan only hires employees that have multiple skill
That's,
sets.
that's what I'm saying.
I've been getting pretty freaking lucky on a lot of these that like, oh yeah, sure, you come on in for do this. And I'm like, wow, you can do a lot of other things.
Yeah.
You
So,
better.
with that being said, Tracy also is a pretty good filmmaker.
Yes.
He'll do some videos, some video editing. Also, do some little music producing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man of many talents, can do it all.
Yes.
Model,
Yeah. Yeah.
vocalist, you name it.
Yeah. I've not utilized you as a model as much as I should. though.
Modeling was my past life.
Stepping out of that.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I haven't touched. I did music production for probably a solid 5 years. Just completely obsessed with it. I did make some of my own music, and eventually just got really into the producing side of it, making mostly like hip hop beats and running a small home studio and recording local artists. So.
Yeah.
And then that actually got me into doing video work because Ryan Furr needed help with his company. And he was like, if you can manage a music production software, then I guarantee you could learn to video edit pretty quickly because they're kind of similar in nature, you know? And the biggest thing with that stuff is the learning curve of the actual programs, finding out where everything is and how it works.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got into doing video work, and on even a local level, a small town like Columbus or Franklin, it's hard to get all the business you want recording. So to really live off of music, or at least producing music, it's almost like you need to live somewhere else.
Yeah.
Not totally true, but it's just difficult. And so got into doing video work, so I knew it would pay better.
Yeah.
And then I was doing video work for a friend of mine who opened a tattoo studio in Columbus, and ended up asking him if he would want another apprentice. And so I didn't end up apprenticing for him, but he hooked me up with someone else that he used to work for.
Nice.
So kind of just one creative thing led to another. It's all to find a way out of the job I hated, like everyone else.
Yeah.
But dude, I tell you to this day, like it was crazy. Cause like, I mean, we've been homies for a good while, you know, like, but not like, oh, hey, we're living life together type stuff. And
Yeah, Tracy used to skateboard.
I did.
Jonathan used to skateboard.
No, Tracy and I used to skateboard together.
Yeah. And then I skateboarded with you all a
You
couple
did.
times.
And Tracy and I, we went camping together
We did with Kyle and
forever ago. That's crazy. Just I follow Tracy on social media, and I'm not even kidding to where it was like, okay, Tracy, you know, I know he works at oh my gosh, what's the place you work at? Cummins diesel engines.
Yeah.
Like I knew you started working there because I knew Kyle was working there, and everyone in the Columbus area was like, yep, I work at Cummins.
it's Cummins, Indiana is what it is.
Yeah, 100%. And then no joke, I was like, oh, okay, Tracy's like doing some beats. Okay, okay, that's cool. And then it was like, oh, Tracy transitioned to, I started seeing some tattoo videos of your buddy's shop that you were talking about. You just doing some sweet B-roll. So I mean, they're good little edits, and I was like, okay, that's tight. Then out of nowhere, I see this dude posting canvases of like, oh, yep, just I'm a painter now, and I'm like, how in the hell, man? Like seriously, like it went from beats to freaking video to, yeah, I just decided to draw paintings, you know, like.
I think you paint paintings.
Yeah, I don't
technically.
think-
But you
Well,
draw
some-
them first, and then you paint
Sometimes
over
you
top
take a
of
pencil
them.
or draw.
and you kind of get your basic shape.
You guys get what I freaking mean.
Yeah, no, I'm following you. Jared was the one that doesn't understand painting.
I've still only finished 2 oil paintings, and they're both hanging out there.
Yeah,
It's
but
okay.
it was
I did this.
it was a 300
I
one.
finished this painting and that painting.
that one.
I've never painted on a canvas. I've only painted on a wall.
Yeah,
That's cool.
probably easier. But
I wouldn't know.
I seen that 300 painting that you did. I was like, okay, that's crazy. And then boom, freaking, you started posting tattoos, and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, it was like, I don't know, it was just crazy within that, like, it's kind of like a span out of like a year and a half, kind of all those things together.
Yeah.
And I was just like, boom, boom, boom. I was like, holy smokes.
Dude, seeing your tattoos getting posted, that kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
Because I'd like any tattooer that I'd ever like seen, I like came across them after they've been doing it for a long time, and I'd never seen someone be like, first tattoo on a person, and I was just like, no way, dude, because like it wasn't excellent,
Right.
but that's just how it has to go. Like your first tattoo on a person is gonna be kind of rough,
Yeah.
and you just have to accept, like, dang, dude, you just have to put it in there and live and like move on with your life.
Yeah.
But then I feel like very quickly it was like, okay, not bad, all right, that's fine, and then it was like, oh shoot, this one's like solid. And then like very quickly it shifted over. And I think it was when you like kind of discovered your style that you were really enjoying. And then it was just like, what the heck? Like it was such a quick jump.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think when you see someone progress that quickly, it just shows like that they actually want to do it. Because I've seen a lot of people who have had a certain style and just stayed within that and improved a little bit over time.
Yeah.
But just stayed within that one style. But when you see someone who's like actually dedicated to getting better and progressing, then you can see that very rapidly in their art. Which, I mean, I didn't follow you during that time, but looking back at your stuff, I can see that very quick improvement.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah, dude, you're crushing it.
Only the best here at Golden Press.
Yep. That's our
That
motto.
rhymes.
I know.
I have this tendency to obsess over things, to whatever I'm into at the time, to get as good at it as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And
Couldn't tell.
It's not
Couldn't tell over here.
it's not fun doing something and not being good at it.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
if I'm a videographer and I'm making videos, but there's multiple other videographers in town that I know that are getting hired for things, if I'm the worst one out of all of them, like that's not a good feeling,
Yeah.
So I think just the grind, man.
Yep.
Well, I've got 3 better designers than me in here, I feel like, but I'm still learning.
Who's the 3?
Jonathan.
Not Jonathan.
Stick figures.
Mr. stretches the text. We got
Yeah.
things to him.
Yeah.
All right, Zach,
You
you're
stre-
out of here.
You stretch the text
God.
one time and you can never live it down.
It was a lot more than one time. That was the number one thing. And
you
for
shut
all,
your mouth, Corey.
This is a very important lesson
He's
for
gonna fire
all
all of
screen
us.
printers that exist.
Stretch the test.
If you type out a font, you should never stretch it. You can change the scale of it, but not stretch it. That's just inappropriate.
Oh, here, I'll just
It's
add a little
inappropriate.
bit to that. So when you are self-taught in Photoshop and you have a client that sent you over are you familiar with this when they send over like a design that is not screen printable?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, see, you are. So they send that over, and then they say, "Ooh, I want that letter like bigger," but they give you something, and you don't know how to make it bigger besides stretch it just a little. And guess what? Every one of those clients did not complain about their shirts. So
Yeah. Well,
that's all that matters.
They probably
Got away
it's
with
just like,
it.
oh, it's fine that my logo is freaking stretched out.
Well, first off, no one ever sent me a logo.
Yeah.
It was always a downloaded font that they wanted on a t-shirt. So if if they wanted to actually get a logo done, they would probably hit up an actual designer.
I feel like there might have even been like Ridgeline. Like I feel like I remember a long time ago, like a Ridgeline screen where I like looked at it and was like, that is stretched.
No.
No.
No, I don't believe it.
Back in the
Because
garage.
they actually had a logo. They sent
Yeah,
it.
but I also remember back then you said, "Hey, can you make the pocket 2 inches tall and 4 inches wide?" And I was like, "Well, you see, it can only be 4 inches wide, but it can't be 2 inches tall." And
Yeah. So next subject, guys. You actually might be right, but it's okay.
But things have changed.
Blake
and
loves
now,
me. I don't
perfect,
touch
crispy
artwork.
stuff. Everything looks really nice nowadays.
Look at how far you've come.
Well, here's a valid point: is you just have to do what you got to do until you upgrade.
until Corey shows up. It says
yeah,
that's
until
inappropriate.
Corey comes.
Inappropriate.
So the lesson to be learned is if you're not good at something, hire someone who's actually good at it
That is
rather
a-
than learning how to do it
that's
yourself.
good. That's a great lesson. Actually, I learned that lesson from Jonathan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was always the person that thought, well, I guess I just have to do it myself because I probably don't have money to do anything. But then I'd just see Jonathan be like, I'm just going to hire AJ to put this floor in, or I'm just going to, and even like, it was not like that he can't do it himself, but it was more efficient for him to just hire someone to do it.
Yeah.
So he could actually make money doing something else. I was like, oh shoot, like you're allowed to do that. That's cool. And
You can always make more money. You can't make more time.
Yeah. I actually went on, it was my wife's birthday. We went, we went to Madison, Indiana, and it was awesome. We were renting a cabin, and I actually had time to read a book, and it was just like just a business entrepreneur book or whatever. And I read a story of an example, and it changed my mindset. And all it was is he's like, just this example of a guy who's fully capable of changing his brakes on his vehicle, and he just said the example was like, okay, so hey, I'm going to change out the brakes. It's going to take me maybe an hour or a few hours, and he starts getting into changing his brakes, and like literally something caliper or brake something breaks, like the actual thing breaks, and all I have is the brake pads, and it literally just took him out for a few days, and he didn't have a vehicle, and this and this and this, and he goes, that cost me not just time but money. Like, it cost me way more than just time and money. Or I could just take it to a professional that does that for a living and actually has the resources if something does break. And it was just that perfect example. He's like, yeah, I make more money if I just take it to a professional. I make more money. Even that time of, I can think of a new business or a new process that'll help my business be more efficient. He's like, but doing it that way. And so I have taken on that. I am no longer in that. Again, I can install floor. I bought a fixer upper of a house. I can do a lot of freaking projects. But my question is like, literally we had to freaking get some exit signs up in the studio, and no joke, I totally could have done it, and running wires through the wall and all that stuff. And it was one of those things where I just called up my buddy AJ, who's a handyman, and I was like, hey man, come on dude, come out here. Do you have time? I'll print, and we always swap services. He's one of my best friends, but I was just like, I'll print some shirts for you if you can just do this for me. Like, it's an even swap. Like, I just need it done. And he literally came out and literally solved it took
him like 10 minutes.
Yeah, we didn't even have to do what I thought we had to do. He's like one of those like super resourceful. He's like, here, I'm just gonna, these exit signs, they can actually just plug right in. They don't have to be hot wired and blah, blah, blah. And literally it was just done in 30 minutes, and I would have spent a few hours messing with it.
You did, when we first moved into this space, though, you ran a couple wires for that TV we mounted.
And it took me half a day.
It did.
Yeah. And it was, again, I didn't have the right tools and all that stuff, but I was like, yep, I'm going to get it done, because, for that, I really, you guys coming in here, I wanted to take pride in making sure that front space looked really good. Because, again, you know this, you only have one chance to make a first impression, Jared.
Yeah, speaking of, I was going to say something about what you were talking about earlier, but I didn't want to interrupt.
That's fine.
But I think there are seasons where you do have to kind of, do the DIY method.
For sure.
And you have to
100%.
go through, that fake it till you make it season. I think there's nothing, and I think that's what kind of Jonathan was talking about in the beginning of like, yeah, I'm stretching some fonts out because I'm freaking just figuring it out as I go. And we're all going to have those seasons. But then, you get to a point where skills have progressed and business has moved to a point where maybe let's not DIY fake everything.
Yeah.
It's face it till you make it.
There you go.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah. And until then,
Brings us to our next sponsor.
just keep
Liquid
watching. Just keep watching my tutorials, and I'll tell you all the stuff that's acceptable.
Hey, if you guys need to know how to draw a skull,
True.
dude, we'll hook you up.
Yeah, dude.
Corey knows how to draw skulls.
Don't you have plenty of videos on drawing skulls?
Yeah, I draw skulls like It's the go-to. I prefer it's better without the flesh, you know. The
Nobody
flesh.
likes flesh.
Did you just say you prefer?
Yeah, I prefer faces without flesh. Yeah, definitely.
It's funny how
You've drawn a few faces with flesh, though.
It's funny how crafty you've gotten with incorporating skulls in all your designs. Because like the other day you were drawing, it was some like cowboy design. It was this dude on, I think, a horse, cowboy hat on, and he was like facing the other way, but he had his head turned back. Yeah, and it was a skull.
Yeah,
face. It's just like how'd you do that?
It's just fun because what I like about it is that a skull is not a specific person, and when you have to draw flesh on it, then it's like, all right, who is this person?
Are they male, female?
Yeah, or just like, I don't know.
Then you have to worry about like what shade their skin is. Yeah, and make sure we color everything correctly.
Dude, I literally, I had my most controversial post of all time the other day on Christmas. And I drew a picture of Jesus, but literally my first go-to when I was starting to draw, I was like, oh, I could do like a skull Jesus. And then I was like, no, that won't make sense, especially to the narrative of Jesus. But and then I was like, well, I'll do flesh on him. And then I got in a ton of trouble because people didn't like the tone that I used in his flesh. So, oh well.
Well, and you were just referencing, you're just referencing The Office anyway. Yeah. It was like a little like party hat on him, like happy birthday, you know, like thing. And then
happy birthday, Jesus. Sorry, your party's so lame.
I remember he said to me, I thought the only thing people would get upset about was the Office quote in the
yeah, because like they didn't get it or something. But there was one person that mentioned.
But now I need to look at it again. What was the flesh tone that you were talking,
dude?
Is it because it's like a white Jesus?
Yeah, it was too white for people. And just again, to explain, it was on a black background. And
a YouTube apology right now.
Yeah, this is gonna be a hard video, guys. No, it was on a black background, and so I was like, okay, like I can't make the skin too dark. Because then it won't show up on the black background. But even more so, if I make the skin dark, then I need to make the hair even darker. And the hair definitely won't show up on the black background. And also, I just wasn't taking it that seriously. I was just like, I mean, as well as like, I was like, if I get too abstract with my drawing of Jesus, people won't know who it is.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'll do the traditional standard Jesus that everyone recognizes, you know, the stereotypical. And people were upset. They were also the secondary thing was people were mad about the date. Some people said that Jesus wasn't born on December 25th, which whatever, you know, maybe he was conceived on that day. Who knows? So whatever, it's tradition.
That's why Corey likes to draw skulls.
Also, and that's why I draw skulls.
For context, Corey's posts alternate between a white and a dark gray background. Yeah. So he had to do dark gray for that. Yeah. So it wouldn't really work.
We care about the theme, baby.
Yeah.
All about
continuity,
the theme.
baby.
It would look really weird if it was all checkerboarded and then there was just two white background posts in a row.
Yeah, that would be absurd. That's unacceptable.
It's inappropriate.
At the end of the day, really, it just shows that people will get upset about anything and everything.
That's true.
Which brings us to our next point. So we got Jordan. We hired him on.
Have we not introduced him?
No, we have, but we were just talking about the new things that we added in.
Oh, yeah, he's a new boy.
This year. And sound. Noises.
That's all I do.
Music.
It's just noise.
Edit drums.
Microphones.
He is pretty noisy.
Those are things we added in this year.
Do you play any instruments?
I do.
He plays them
Not
all.
very well.
That's not true.
That is not true at all.
He can sing, dance, magician.
Man, my favorite instrument is magician.
I love to see you play a good magician.
That's basically just a Jedi, right?
Yes.
Oh, don't get him started.
So
They're actually wizards.
Oh,
so started a recording studio.
Mm-hmm.
What's the name of it?
Golden Press Recording Studio.
Dang, dude. Clever name. I like it.
I think we should just rebrand to Golden Press Studios with an S, and then it covers everything.
What's funny is that
I think it actually is an S.
I'm looking at it right now.
No, there's not.
I feel like we've intentionally, like whenever we tell people the email, it's like, no, it's not studios, it's studio.
Yeah.
But now maybe we throw an S on there.
We didn't know we were expanding so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I had no idea, guys. Just so you know.
I feel like Golden Press Studio, singular, encompasses everything.
Yeah.
Just, you know.
We are a studio that does it all.
we're a creative studio.
Yeah. If you start adding the other stuff, it's like we talked about possibly getting a sign out front, and if it was like Golden Press Studio and Tattoo or something, it's like it's making that other thing secondary. And like that usually, to me, if I see that on a sign, I'm like, oh, that's not the main thing they do. There's probably not anyone good that works there. Don't really want to go in that shop.
Yeah, and that, I mean, when I was thinking of the name, like everyone was like shop, like Golden Press Shop, or nothing against the word shop, but it was one of those things that I didn't want it to feel like a typical screen printing shop. I wanted it to be like a creative place for people to work. I had no idea that it was going to go this far, though. But studios, like, man, you can do, like, there's tons of different studios. There's a ton of creative outlets for studios. I was like, yeah, that's a no-brainer.
And it sounds really cool when you talk to clients and you say, all right, sorry, we were, on vacation, but now I'm back in the studio. And they're like, freak, dude, this guy's serious.
Back in the shop.
Yeah, like you say back in the shop, they're like, okay, whatever. But you say I'm back in the studio or the studio.
Studio.
But also, I mean, the whole, like, kind of people's view of a screen printing shop, at least my view, was just the dirtiest, nastiest thing that you just...
Like a factory.
You fling ink everywhere, and it's like a printing shop can't be clean is the perspective that I always thought, and I wanted to change it. So I was like, studio, somewhere nice where people like walk in. I mean, how many people have walked in this place and just like, holy crap, this is just a cool place to work. Corey's mentioned numerous times, like, it literally just makes him feel good that he walks in this space, that his art's on the wall. It pumps him up. And so I was like, yep, freaking studio. And so we're keep on extending those services.
Yeah.
So if you want to clean up your dirty shop, change your name to Studio, and it'll just happen.
Yeah,
that's exactly
instantly.
As soon as he got out of the garage.
So Jordan, we kind of derailed a little bit, but tell us about your fancy little black studio.
It is, in fact, black.
Yeah.
Dark.
Hey, Jordan, tell us the process of getting this studio. Actually, just give us a short run of...
Tell us your life story.
Like, getting a house and building a house.
So originally, we were going to build the studio in the basement of Studio 2, as like I'd like to refer to it.
Yep.
But then we went down there and really started thinking about it, and we're like, this is a lot of money to fix this place.
And a lot of work.
Yeah.
Right, because, and I mean, there's a ton of moisture and just water down there, and there's electronics and wooden instruments. What's the one thing that both of those hate? Moisture. So to fix all that, I mean, we're talking probably close to $100,000, truthfully. And it just didn't make sense to do that.
Yeah.
The basement of that place is just the catacombs. Like, it's just not very tall.
Yeah.
It's wet, and it's like
we would have made it look sweet.
We had we had the
a plan.
vision for sure.
But anyway, so my wife and I were building a house down here anyway, and we ended up adding another like bonus room to it, and we're like, you know what? Let's just really put the time and money into our house that is ours, and make a control room and a live room, and use that until we get our own building where we can build whatever studio we want. So basically, we sold our house in March, moved in with some friends for 8 months while our house was being built, and now we're finally in our house and finally recording, like, as an actual job.
Yeah.
And it's freaking sweet.
Talk about your first project, man. That was really cool for all of us.
Yeah, a good buddy of mine, he used to be in an old band, and now he's in a new band, and it's just him. And he was pretty nervous about, like, it's just me. I've never done this by myself. And those are the projects that I want, because I want to help. Like, I want to help shape him into the best that he can be. So it was just a really fun project, and I had Jared and Corey come out, take some photos, shoot some video, which we're working on a cool little promo to really start marketing the studio so we can start bringing more and more in. But
Yeah. You had your studio drummer come out.
I did. My next door neighbor, aka my brother-in-law, aka human metronome.
Yeah, who really is like a studio drummer. Like
He's so good.
Yeah. Well, he's also in a band with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the coldest band out there.
The coldest.
I don't know if you know what they feel about Christmas songs.
They're
but
super lame.
they're lame.
What's funny, we actually only our vocalist doesn't like Christmas songs, so the fact that we have a song about Christmas songs being lame is
Was it controversial?
also lame.
Okay.
Once again, vocalist dominating the direction of the album.
What's
Jeez.
funny is that will only be listened to around Christmas time.
Yep.
Meaning that it is
A
a
Christmas
song.
Yeah,
Yep.
especially with the bells, the ching 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 bells.
The Jingle Bells?
I think that's
I
what
think
they
that's
call
what they're called. Yeah.
I think they're sleigh bells.
How dare you?
Slay.
How dare you correct me?
Dare you correct me?
But yeah, so you're recording music. That's actually really fun. I've never sat in on like live studio stuff like that. Excuse me. And but no, it was really fun to shoot some video and stuff in there, and the process was really really interesting, and it was cool to see it like to see his initial idea. And like even some of the demo stuff that he had tracked, and then how vastly different it was at the end.
Actually, cut it.
Because whenever you have an idea, then you get another set of ears or eyeballs on it, right? It always can help you take it in a better direction. And so it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Watching that happen. So
I wasn't there for this, but Jared told me about some special microphone that you have.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
A telephone microphone.
Yeah, he wanted like this cool lo-fi distorted gainy thing, and I remember a long time ago in one of my old bands, we took an old telephone and converted it to a microphone, and I happened to still have it. And I was like, we could do this in post, but what's Jared's favorite saying? Fix it in pre.
fix it in pre, man. Stop trying to fix everything in post.
So I was like, dude, let's just hook this thing up and freaking crank the preamp and just see what we get. And it's just this gnarly, cool lo-fi filter sound, and it's just like you couldn't do that in post with a plugin. Like,
not with the same texture.
You can't replicate that same.
You could
texture.
try and maybe get a similar, but
Yeah.
it wouldn't be exactly the same.
And also a lot more work when you just have this telephone.
Right.
Yeah.
Pretty sick.
It's just been fun, man. I'm really excited to finish up this video and just showcase what we're working with right now, and just my skills.
And dude, the space is nuts.
Yeah.
Like,
You
walk into the room.
Yeah.
And like literally, it's like you're in like this chamber. Like you go in and like all echo is gone.
Yeah.
It's like it feels like you like earmuffs on or something.
His dogs do like to break in sometimes. Though.
Yeah. Well, I installed a lock.
Oh, good.
Yeah, on the door, so they can't force their way in anymore. But yeah, we did some trade work with some buddies of ours that work at Oralex. I never remember how to say it.
Oralex.
But anyway, so they came and treated like my whole house, and it is crazy. You walk in like the front door, and you can just like hear reflections off walls, and then you walk into the control room, and it's just gone.
Dude, that's crazy.
They make good stuff.
But let me talk about like how crazy, like you legitimately. How long have you been in the actual house?
Beginning of November.
So he literally moved in, and it was like the next week.
Yeah, we were doing a full session. Yeah,
Like, which is crazy because you just think about, hey, moving into your brand new house, like stoked on it. And it was like Jordan was literally leaving the studio to go home and like putting in work on panels and running snakes through.
Oh yeah, I had to run my XLRs through the wall.
Which you did that because you got your house built.
Yeah, we tried to do it beforehand, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, we can't have other people in here." And we're like, "Cool, I guess
house.
I'm gonna have to do it afterward. That's gonna be fun."
Do it in post.
Yeah, I had to do it in post. Seriously, which if we would have done it in pre,
I know.
Freaking
so
come
much
on.
better.
One day people will trust me.
Yep. Jared's favorite thing to say.
But it was funny though, because Corey came out and shot some photos while we were tracking, and I didn't have everything set up all the way.
Yeah.
And then I got in trouble for square cropping a photo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because the ceiling didn't have my diffuser panels on it.
But it was sick because there was this cool blue glow up on the ceiling that looked rad, and then he was like, "I'm gonna remove that, cut that." It's pretty.
It's okay.
offensive.
We got on him.
Yeah,
but
I will
now
never
knows.
square crop again.
Yeah, I mean, it's just inappropriate.
Yeah, super.
That's really what it comes down to.
It's like the stretching text of a photo. You know?
Yeah, next time I'll just blur it out.
Well, stretching a photo is also inappropriate, so don't do that either.
I'd say that's more egregious than text.
Equal to. I'd rather you square crop a photo than stretch a photo.
Basically, all you guys offend Corey.
Constantly.
It happens.
Listen, if anyone gets offended here, it's me.
Yeah, that's for sure.
When I got here today, he literally said, "Do you know how hard it is to offend me?"
Well, okay. So here's the thing: is that I needed to come early because we had to refigure some stuff. Because Zach wasn't originally going to be on the podcast, and then
Yeah, we were trying everything we could
to get him off, keep him away.
Yeah.
But then
I weaseled my way
and then
in.
he was, and so we had to move the couch. And I was like, well, I got to go in early and set some camera stuff up. If you meet me there, you know, whatever, we'll move the couch and everything. So I was trying to be a nice guy, and I got him some little brekkie,
Yeah.
and that's breakfast.
Yeah,
For those of you
from the Australian.
who don't know Australian slang.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, I got you some breakfast. And I texted him, you know, and then he got here and he took like 3 bites and then was like, hey man, I can't eat this. I already ate breakfast. Like, what the hell, dude? Just freaking say you already ate breakfast and don't take 3 bites of something.
will
I'll give it to
say,
someone else.
The reason I started eating it was because I was like, I think I'm hungry enough to eat this. And I got like 3 bites in and I was like, no, I'm really not. And so I do feel bad for doing that.
It's okay. I bore that burden.
He bore my
upon my
cross
body.
for me.
But basically, I was just like, dude, you don't have to worry about hurting my feelings.
Yeah.
My feelings don't get hurt. They just get even.
That's kind of true.
Nice.
too.
Yeah. Another cool thing about Jordan is with the recording studio, he's actually able to not work here and go work there on certain days.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about how cool that is, Jonathan.
Yeah, I'll talk about how cool it is when I come back.
I got this one, guys. I got it. Ready? No. So here's the thing. We had the studio, like the whole recording and him coming in, we had it booked out. How long?
Oh, a while.
A few months,
Yeah.
you know. And of course, you know, for me as the boss, I'm like, hell yeah. You know, Jordan gets to do what he, you know, I hired him to do. Like legitimately, he came in as a, you know, the press operator and has been killing it up until this point. But that's
Up
not
until this
Oh,
point.
now I'm not killing it.
You're not killing it anymore. Now
I mean,
you're-
Too distracted.
Once he got the taste of what he wants to do,
Yeah, now I don't want to do anything else.
By the way, hey, I checked those crew necks the other day.
They were
look killer.
great, weren't
that
they?
print was money. But yeah, he was killing it up until this point, and shoot.
That's not proper grammar. What do you mean up until this point? Did he stop doing good?
Yes, that's what I'm. No, just not the right words came out. That's all.
But he's still sticking with it.
Yeah, he's like,
Yes.
I don't know the right one, so we're going to stay here.
Yes. So he was doing really good up until this point.
Dear Lord.
And no, he was out for it was really only a week.
Yeah.
And guess what? He made money for the company doing what he loved, and he got to literally, you know, chill in his house, and it was, you know, he got to enjoy the whole process of recording a very talented individual and get to, you know, just experience that in his own home, in his own studio, and it was just a really cool thing. However, with it being booked out, like I knew when he was going to do that, I basically just didn't realize how much I rely on him as a press operator. Not just a press operator, like running the second studio. And I was like, yeah, no, I'm just going to come in. And I'll take over. Like, I know how to run that stuff. Like, all good, right? And I was like crapping my pants. I was just like, I came in the first day and I was like, there's not even any screens ready. Like to put on press to print this job. Like that's how far it wasn't your fault. It was just the fact that like I didn't take in
You just had the perception like, I'm just going to show up, put shirts on a plat, and I'll be good to go.
just go.
You've been out of the game.
I have. Well, I mean, I have been like I kind of, it's like we're working back and forth with this crazy schedule of, hey, I'll come in, I'll run this job, you fold shirts. We're just back and forth on a lot of stuff, and I just didn't realize how important his position was, or him actually being there. Which
sorry everybody.
Dropping waters.
Don't worry about it.
Jared's falling apart.
Everything's fine. Don't worry. Oh crap! It's about to happen again.
Yeah,
it's fine. It's fine.
I didn't anticipate all of that, and what that did was, holy smokes! First of the year when we start really promoting the recording and getting bands in here, I got to do something about this now. I have to have some other people over there that can run stuff. And just to all my screen printing homies that run a manual shop, this is the one thing that I will talk about all the time because it's so important, is that manual to automatic transition it's insane. This year, we're, in March, it's going to be, it'll be a year one of running an auto shop, and it has not been easy. I will be extremely transparent. There's just been a lot of growth and a lot of things that you don't know about until you're in the game. And I really basically what I'm currently doing now as the boss is I'm trying to prepare for that next phase of growth. It's like I get people in so that they can do what they love. And they do all the things, to help float the business in that season to where then soon as they're off on their own, then I got to fill these positions with other people and hiring people. And I mean, I have the most people, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 or 4 full-timers.
I'm a half a person.
As long as you recognize that.
Zach is he's part-time right now, but with Jordan come in, I'm also talking with another guy. His name is Zach.
Yeah.
Which is going to make it very confusing.
Not Zach.
My name is Zechariah, by the way.
His name is Zechariah. So we're gonna have to figure that out, because when you're in the other studio and you say Zach, you're both gonna look.
If not even that. It's back, it's Jack, it's whack. Anything that ends with
John too. I've been dealing with that all Jay, Jonathan, Jordan, John.
Yeah.
It's just not good. So
anything that ends with ack. I quit pressure washing. I take my earbuds out. What? We're not talking to you. I remember there was a point where Jared, I done that 3 times, and Jared goes, if we need to talk to you, we will get your attention. And I was like, I'm sorry.
AKA
I was tired
Jared.
of him trying to be a part of a conversation he wasn't supposed to
The
be.
thing is, it's hard to offend Jared, okay?
It's really hard to offend me. It's really easy to piss me off.
Oh, crap.
So, I remember when we were, you were prepping the studio at your house, and I asked you the question. I was like, so Jordan's your full-time printer right now. When he starts recording, what are you going to do? Because if you're not printing, you still keep yourself completely busy with, you'll be sitting in the tattoo studio doing invoices, and you're on Zoom calls in and out with companies and whatever else needs done. Somehow there's a million, there's always something to do, side things you don't think about that take up time or money within a company. You have 2 locations to manage. So I was like, what are you going to do when Jordan starts recording? And you were like, oh, I'm just going to fill the print spot. Yeah. And I was like, I just had this feeling. I was like, how? Yeah. And then so Jordan starts record. He is out of the shop for 1 week, right?
It all falls apart.
He didn't print for 1 week because he got his first recording job when the studio opened, and so Jonathan was full-time printing for 1 solid week. And then I was talking to him, 'cause he'll just walk in with a face sometimes when he's overwhelmed or just
We all know that face.
they're just so busy, and so I was like, what's up, man? And he's like, I got to hire someone. I can't do it. And at that point, I think you were talking about, I've got to hire an assistant so that they can do this type of work on the side, and I can focus on printing. And I think that's kind of always up in the air.
Yeah.
I'm not joking when I say it's been a very hard year. There's just been some points to where I'm the type of guy, I just figure it out, right? It's like, oh, extra hours or whatever, or I need to lean on my other guys a little more in a certain area. And this has been one of those years to where I'm like, I don't know what to do. I literally, like, my brain capacity is just hitting its max. And but with that, I'm also, my personality is not like, oh, I'm just gonna just give up or let it figure. Like, I just I gotta kind of go in a direction and see if that door will smack me in the face, and then I'll go into a different door. But yeah, the new plan is just, I just got to hire part-time people. I can't offer full-time positions or anything. I got to hire a part-time, see if they're going to hang with us. Zach, you're going to hang with us? No, Zach's been hanging with us, and it's been good. But as more work comes in, I'm able to take those part-timers away from their other jobs and their other, stuff, to where I bring them in full-time. And it's that kind of, I just can't. And everybody knows in the screen printing world, it is, sometimes it is, there's just tons of things to do. And then you hit this like week to where it's just like, we're like at a standstill. It's like, and I hate the whole feast or famine stuff, because it's not necessary. I don't believe in that. I really don't. I've thought about that a lot. It's like, oh, you have work or you don't. It's like, well, what about today? It's like, we're not printing anything. We're doing a podcast, but there's orders happening in the background, like there's movement in the business. It's not a make or break situation. I've just realized that I am not a robot. I need these things called sleep, and I need to not be thrown in every direction to where, I freaking, I'm going crazy. We got a family and got kids and all that stuff. But the thing I've learned is that I just got to hire some people and realize I can't do it all. And the new struggle is just trying to figure out how to delegate even more and kind of let people take ownership of those positions, so that they can be a part of the team, full time. So.
Now, do you think, this is kind of just like a question for you, Jonathan, kind of directed at people going from manual to auto. Do you think if you are going manual to auto, that it is kind of like a requirement that you need to have an employee or employees?
Yeah,
like, say, you get, because there's guys out there like, oh, I'm just running my garage shop, and then they get so many orders that they think, oh, maybe I could get a little auto, and but maybe they're still just on their own. Yeah. So, don't do what I did. That's what I'm telling everybody. If hindsight's 20/20, right? Like, I'm looking back, and this is seriously what, like, I wouldn't change anything, but if I could help people go from that, hey, you're in a garage, to if you want to do screen printing for the rest of your life, like, you have to be committed, like, and that's like the goal. And things can merge, and you can do other businesses, obviously, but if like screen printing is like that main gig you want to do, I like, there's not enough hours in the day for you to just do it by yourself. You're going to run ragged, and you're going to be burnt out, and you might want to in that screen printing company. I believe in, like, there's so many roles once you go to automatic that I really believe you need to hire, and you need to find people that want to come alongside you and be a part of the creative realm. If you just try to do it by yourself, you're going to get burnt out. There's just, like, no joke, Zach and Jordan, they both know, like, we need a position literally for people just to mix ink. Mm-hmm. Like, it takes up so much time that, like, we've just been to the point to where, like, the press isn't running because Jordan has to spend, X amount of hours mixing custom Pantones. Yeah. Like, 6 colors getting mixed.
Yeah, that's our standard.
For like a 500-600 piece order, that's a lot of ink.
Yeah. Like that. And once we got the auto, we haven't done a whole lot of one colors, like it's always been those like 6 colors. And so you got screen prep, and then you got, Zach reclaiming those 6 screens and taking the tape out and ink and all that stuff. Like there's so much work just to do a job nowadays. Mm-hmm. And so I've realized that I need a team. That's it. I need a team, and I can't do all those things. Like I was kind of making it work when we were here, and I had to, once we lost Josh, right?
Yeah. And it was still like you were leaning on like me and Jared a bit more like, hey, I know you guys have like your work, but can one of you guys just like come down and like pull the tape out of the screens and like at least get the ink out of the screens?
Yeah. It was just...
Or fold shirts or whatever.
Yeah. We're at that state of I can't do it all, and I can't even like the whole jumping back and forth of what Tracy was trying to like, how are you going to do this, man? Like it just can't happen like that. I've just owned up to it. It can't happen like that. I need to hire a team, but I also have to be true to that team and just saying, hey guys, I need you. That's the good thing about part-time. I've told Zach that, hey man, if money's not coming in, I'm going to need you to go back to Walmart and work a day until we get an influx. And, it's like, and that's my advice to, shops that are going from manual to auto is that, find someone that, whether it's friends or whether it's just a person that is a solid worker, make sure they have another job, and make sure that, when there's going to be that time comes that they're going to transition and they'll be, full time. Like it's inevitable in the screen printing realm. But don't take on that weight of like, oh yeah, man, I got it. Like, come on, full time, leave your other job. It puts a lot of pressure and stress on the business owner.
Yeah, I mean, Zach, he implemented the exact same method that I implemented. Was, hey, I got a job. I happened to be working for you.
Right.
He was working for Walmart, but it was, I want to be around screen printing because I do design and I like screen printing. I think it's cool. And then like very much the exact same thing. Like, oh, I'll come in and just hang out and help out, just because it's fun and cool, and I'm around cool people.
Yeah.
And then you were like, one, I feel bad for not paying you for all the work you're doing, and then 2, now I can't do this without you.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
I realized how much more I can do if I'm not cleaning screens and doing those kind of things.
Right.
And being like, oh, wait, you mean I can come in the shop and instead of just burning the screen and then setting it up, you don't have to clean it, wash it, dry it, then coat it, and like do all that stuff.
And it's interesting for me because I came to this studio a few times when I was going to college over at Franklin College, literally like 2 minutes down the street.
Yep.
And I would show up, and Corey said this the other day. He's like, somehow every day that you were there was a day that Jonathan was pissed off and he did not want you there.
No, that's not fully true. I was pissed. Those are just days I was just pissed off about something, and it was just the stresses of business and growth and all that stuff.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to like blame you for that.
Yeah.
And what I was trying to get at, sorry, I'm instigating.
Yeah.
Stir that pot. Go ahead.
But for me, coming here just a few times, it was like 2019, I think it was. Like the end of the year, it was very interesting to be able to come here and just kind of see your process. And then I left, and I'm friends with Jared and Corey, so I just kept in contact with them, and was just still working on my designs, growing my skills, and just getting better. And then it got to a point where, I was designing and I was working full time at Walmart, and I think it was Corey hit me up and he goes, hey man, you still want to be an intern? And think about this. This is like 3 years after I had been, and I was like, 100%. Yeah, totally. And he was like, yeah, I think Jonathan's, ready to pull the trigger. And so he gave me his number, and Jonathan called me, and I was in the middle of playing some video games or something, and I had to like pause it, or like, I think I hid in a bush or something. And I was just like, oh yeah, sure. I'll get on the phone. We had a conversation, and he basically told me his expectations was just come in, work hard, put in the effort, and show me that you actually want to be here. Yeah. And I did those things, and I think it turned out pretty well for me.
Yeah, 100%. It's funny. I told Zach, I was like, hey man, I'm going to give you the secret sauce. That it is what I said. I'm going to give you the secret sauce, man. just go above and beyond. That's it. That's all I need. Like, and no joke, even with you coming in and doing all, helping out just a day of the week, and then, me hiring you like a day, for a day rate of you coming in and just helping out. That wasn't what did it for me. What did it for me was I literally texted you on a day that, you're already at work, and I needed someone to, like, for me to finish this job, I needed someone to catch onesies, fold them inside out, and like, I needed that. And you're like, yeah, dude, I got you. And that was it.
I went to work the next day and I said, you know how many times I filled in a onesie inside out yesterday? And they were like, how many times? I said 1,500. And they were like, what were you doing?
Yeah, it was a big job, and I needed it, and you came through. And yeah, it just, again, if you all you apprentices out there, literally hit up a shop. There's always stuff. Do some work for free, help them, bring value to their company, and they're instantly going to see that, and they might just freaking hire you.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I've heard some people give the advice of, like, either do a ton of free work or never do free work. And it's weird for me because there's some people I've known who I did free work for, and they did not honor that at all. They tried to take advantage of me, and, like, let's say someone asked for, like, a free design, and they're a friend, so you make something simple, and then they're like, we'll change these things, or I want this, and I'm like, no, that's free. Yeah. But when I came here for, I think it was like a week of me working here for free, and it was like one day, and then I came in the next, I think it was Monday, and then I came in the next Monday, and you were like, yeah, I'm going to need you to come in, like, Tuesdays now. And I was like, okay, that works for me. Like, I was ready to step up and keep moving on. And thankfully for me, my managers at Walmart are, like, very helpful and are understanding. And so they were able to change my schedule quickly. But like, and obviously that's not the same for everybody, but any shop is going to need somebody that can come in and help, or even just, hey, can I come into your studio and just chill, design, and just talk? Like, there's screen printing studios everywhere. And so if you want, just do that.
100%.
It's kind of the same in my industry. Like, when you start tattooing, if you're doing an apprenticeship, you have to take a step back before you can take a step forward. And so you can't put all that time and effort into something if you're working full time, or if you're working on, like, when the shop is open. So you start tattooing, but you don't start out, like, making money right away. You have to sort of eat it for a minute and just kind of make it. And go through a season. A lot of people don't even start tattooing for half a year into an apprenticeship. And so you're not making money, but you have to spend that time, prepping and learning and stuff. So,
is that a good transition for what's to come?
It's a great transition for it.
It would have been if you didn't, like,
as I say, Tracy set you up and then you fumbled into it.
That's okay.
We call that a segue.
Well, I didn't know
much of a football.
I didn't know if we were gonna like,
Yeah, we might. We will. So what's to come within Golden Press? We've been talking a lot about what we've been up to and what we've been doing this past year, and now we're gonna very smoothly and seamlessly transition to what's to come. So, with the topic of tattoo interning, I am a Padawan towards to Tracy at the moment.
Young grasshopper.
Yeah. So that's something that I'm stepping into. Golden Press is stepping into. Is like, I'm, if you're familiar with my art, I'm sure you've noticed that it looks a lot like traditional tattoo art.
If you didn't pick that up.
And so, but for me, it was like, I'm like so committed to Golden Press. Like, why would I quit my job and, like, go find some random tattoo shop and, like, not be able to make any money for my family for a season? And it just worked out perfectly that, Tracy's here and available. But in the same thing, it's like, yeah, I still work a full day at Golden Press, and then it's like, cool, done working, and now I've been, kind of, Tracy's been teaching me a bit of, like, how to tattoo, and I went and purchased all my equipment and all those kind of things, and yeah, dude, it's super cool. I'm so stoked about just this opportunity to learn how to tattoo and have it be another thing that we can integrate into our business, and another thing for me to just know how to do. You know, I love adding categories on the website of things that I do. You know, photography, design, murals, tattooing, singing, dancing, magician. Like,
And make sure when
One of
people
those
call
he can
for,
actually do.
make sure when people call for tattoos that they call Jonathan while he's on the press.
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Hey, side note, no joke. I got a Golden Press Facebook got a message yesterday of like, hey, wanting to schedule a tattoo with Liz. My hairdresser told me about her. And I go, here's her email, book an appointment. I'm tired of this stuff, guys. No.
Didn't we talk about this? That was it the website that we wanted to make another page on the website?
Yeah.
So
no,
you can just
that's
say,
like a
get on the
Jared thing.
website, and that's done.
Yeah. But, well,
Jared's working on that.
Here's the funny thing about.
No, he's
so
not.
after.
From his face, I could tell that was did I just get volunteered?
Yeah. After we integrated, like, yeah, you know, this is tattoo shop in the front, you know, this and that. No joke. My phone has been blown up with like, hey, just looking to schedule a tattoo appointment. I'm like, how in the heck did you get my number? And then I'm like, oh yeah, it's on the website. But it's cool that people are going to Google, looking up, you know, Golden Press Tattoo, and they're going there. But that's the beautiful ecosystem we wanted to create. Is that, no joke, you know, literally people are going to hit me up for tattoos, and I'm going to direct them to you guys, and then people are going to hit you guys up for shirts and, you know, photo and video, and it's just, then you direct them over here. It's that's what I wanted to create and build, and it's happening. So yeah, we're just, I don't know, people are hitting us up. Now we get to utilize everybody's network, and it helps with more business. So
Yeah, it is really cool thinking about how a lot of different creative entities can work together if you allow them to.
Yep.
And I think that not everyone has that vision, but it makes total sense to work in studio, even as a tattooer, to work with a photographer,
Yeah.
videographer, clothes, you know, like all these things that, you know, can rightfully like be a part of my business, and definitely should be if I want to do it well.
Right.
So
I mean,
it's like,
even the other day, me as a graphic designer in the more digital realm, like we posted the video about how to do text on an arc in Procreate, and like literally Tracy and Liz both came to me like, I had no idea that this was available, and I did not know how to do it. And I was like, oh, and so it's like, it's cool that like even like within that, it's like I come from not a tattoo world, and so I come from digital things and that kind of thing. So but everyone in tattooing is now using Procreate and these things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, both of us had no idea that there was a text feature in Procreate.
Yeah. And it's like, I'm like, cool, dude, let me make your life easier by, you know, some of the knowledge that I have. And then you're changing my life with all the knowledge you have. And so,
And I mean, there's been times when I've seen like Jared editing a music video, and I've seen like filters he's put on and just how he's doing stuff. And I'm like, oh, I can edit photos like that. Like there's a lot of, I mean, you don't have to go check my Instagram, but I do a lot of photo editing and like making designs out of photos and kind of photo bashing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I can learn a lot just by watching him of what looks good, what doesn't look good, and kind of how to do things, even though I'm not at all like in the video realm right now.
yeah.
And the cool thing here recently was Jared was editing a video, and he's just like, man, this audio is just, it's not there. Like what do I, oh, hey, I know a guy. Jordan came over.
I taught Jared how to use a compressor.
Jordan changed my life. Is what happened. Saved my life.
This is the coolest thing.
Yeah. So I know what a compressor does, right? I know the concept of it. I know that it brings up the lower levels and brings down the higher levels.
It compresses something.
Yeah, it makes them like sort of together, right? So I know the concept of the compressor, but then you open up the interface of it, and it's just like, yeah, I don't know. That's a bunch of crap, and I don't know what any of it does. And if I start moving stuff around, it usually sounds bad. And then I delete it and then put the basic one back on. So what I would do a lot of times was like, oh, it didn't really like compress it as much as I wanted it to. I'll just add another one.
Yeah, double compress.
So like, I told Corey like sometimes he speaks quieter, and I was like, dude, I had to double compress your freaking audio track, and that just was like a standard thing. And then Jordan came in, and I was like, don't do that. That's inappropriate.
That's like stretching text.
Yeah, he's
Well, sometimes in some applications it is
well,
okay
but,
to do. Yeah.
But so basically with that, like, you know, audio tracks and
Say,
stuff.
but on a single voice on talkover, probably not.
Yeah. But yeah, he was like, hey, man, this is how you actually do this the right way. And I was like, oh my gosh, everything's different.
Yeah.
Like, colors are brighter, food tastes better.
Now let's talk about parallel compression.
Yeah.
Get it sounding real good.
I don't know what you just said.
You don't need.
You won't need it for what you do.
I prefer vertical compression.
Oh.
Don't know what that is.
It's not a thing.
Oh, it's not a thing.
Yeah.
You said parallel.
I think I would know if that was a thing.
But yeah, so Corey's gonna start tattooing.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
So that's pretty rad.
You know what's funny? So we like sort of the deal we have worked out is it's kind of going to be part time.
Yeah.
Because you have your full time job here.
Uh-huh.
And I at first when we were talking about it, I wasn't fully on board. Like I really had to think about it, and I probably wouldn't do that for anyone else but you.
Yeah.
And the reason being, number one, I love you and I know you.
Yeah.
And I believe in you. But number two, you do art for your job every
Yeah.
single day for the last 6 years. You draw every single day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and the style that you do is very honed in. It looks better than most of the traditional stuff I see around, and you're not a tattooer. It's
Yeah.
just your graphic design style for t-shirts. And so I think that you already have, you know, the art skill set there to do it. And now that we're tattooing here, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
stoked.
Yeah.
That's that's just the benefit of what we have. You
Yeah.
know, that we have this amazing ecosystem that it's, you know, no, someone off the street couldn't just come in and do kind of this stuff, but it just kind of naturally became what it is. And we're stoked about it.
Yeah. I'm just to talk about this space a little bit too, is just this is a temporary podcast setup, just something new, something fresh, something that worked for this podcast.
It looks awesome.
It does. Stoked on it.
Literally the best we've had.
The goal is we're gonna rearrange this room yet again. We're gonna do some little bit of construction, paint some walls, make like actual scenes.
Maybe fill this.
I'm not filling this.
Dude, that is my favorite hole.
That's the best hole in the wall.
I always feel like there's going to be like an eyeball.
Yeah.
looking
Or a
through there.
rat.
What's funny though is
That's
that's like
probably
that's not
more
even
accurate.
the wall. This is like a false wall.
Correct.
Yeah. Yep.
There's literally what's it?
This is Paisley wallpaper.
Wallpaper. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're gonna set this up kind of a little more as a kind of permanent podcast. We're moving the offices back upstairs in the loft, and over here we're gonna find a little spot for Corey to be tattooing when he starts booking appointments and all that. So tattooing 2023. Corey's gonna be tattooing. We're gonna be Tracy and Liz's books are going to be filling up, and people are not going to cancel.
Hopefully.
Shabba kaba on that. Yeah. Hopefully people.
Jonathan loves that.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
let's talk about this right now.
Really, it pains him as much as it pains me. I feel like
It does.
But some
hey,
things are going to change here soon.
That's right. Hey, if you book a tattoo appointment, unless it's a family emergency,
Or you're in the hospital
yes,
or dead.
do not cancel on your artist. Don't. That's their livelihood.
I just don't get how you drop, your deposit in there and then
Yeah.
you're like, you know what? I'm okay with losing my money
Yeah.
and getting no return.
But you on the artist side, you got to understand that that's their livelihood. So the fact that you just hey, I stubbed my toe. What was the example I said the other day?
I don't know.
I can't get out of bed today. And he goes, yeah, that's what his appointment said.
Oh, yeah.
And hey, if you have some medical stuff going on, it's fine. It's understandable. But here, I'll go a step further. Contact them when you know that you're not going to be able to show up, and not the same day, if you can help it.
Yeah.
Not just because,
or even the day
it's
before.
Christmas, I
Sometimes
forgot
it's
to-
hard to.
Yeah, because here's this really cool thing that I've already learned about the industry is that, hey, people cancel on you. But hey, guess what? Like the tattooer has influence and has a network of people that would love to like get in because your books are, booked out till, I don't know, are you booked out till like February, March
right now.
But there's other people that have appointments like in March that would love to get in earlier, and you can fill the spot if you contact the tattoo artist and let them know. Sorry, I'm done. I'm more mad. I get more pissed off than Tracy does when he gets a cancellation.
Because I'm so used to it.
Yeah.
But honestly, that's my own fault, and that comes down to business practice that needs changed a little bit. So because it's not just tattooing, it's business as well.
Yeah.
But the subject right now is so fresh because December for tattooers is always like just, I don't know, people call the whole winter season, the holiday season, like the slow season.
Yeah.
That's because they don't wear shorts or short sleeves in that time. So they're like,
Just covering it up.
The goal is for there not to be a slow season if you can book out far enough to book through the winter.
Yeah.
But December specifically, when there's holidays and there's extra money being spent by all these people, it's absolutely insane. And not just me. I've talked to other artists who, like last year, it hit one of my friends super bad, and he was like, "I barely tattooed in December."
Wow.
And it's because people's appointment comes up, and they send you a message like, whenever before the appointment. Hopefully more than a day before, but still sometimes it's like the day before or on the day, and they're like, "Hey, I can't come to my appointment because I'm short on money right now. I just don't have the extra cash." Yeah. And it's like, that's understandable, but when you're booking an appointment in advance for December, you should be thinking about, well, there's lots of holidays and I got to buy my 5 kids Christmas presents, Yeah.
Or just say, forget those kids, and get a
tattoo. Golden Press tattoo.
No, it's the other
or get your kid a tattoo. Swap out. That's their gift. Say, you know what?
No, that's
same tattoo, just on them.
Yeah. No, this is what I've seen is Tracy, lives in Columbus. About how
20 minutes,
20, 30 with some traffic, but he will drive into work, get here at noon, and like not get a text or a call from his client, and he's literally just walking around, doesn't know if his client's going to show up, and then like that he just half of his day is destroyed. It's like, okay, like for me, it's like, how do you regroup? It's like, yeah, you can pull out the iPad, you can start doing some custom stuff or whatever, but it's so hard to like, I got to pivot. I'm just realizing in your realm and in the tattoo industry, like artists have to pivot so much. It's just one of those things. I'm like, that's annoying.
Yeah.
But hey, Jared, you haven't chatted a whole lot. Talk to me, my friend.
What's some new things Jared's doing this coming up season?
Yeah. You want to talk about the Golden Boy initiative?
Am I doing new things?
No, I don't know.
You're always doing.
He's doing old things.
Oh yeah,
You are trying to do more music videos.
Yeah, we did a really rad music video for some buddies of ours. It's a band called Honeybee Well. It's really cool.
Oh yeah, because we do recording too.
Yeah.
And then you can shoot videos for the bands.
Exactly.
And you can
And
do
then you
mini
guys can print
documentaries.
merch for the bands.
And
Exactly.
design the merch too.
and take photos for the band.
Well,
Yeah.
And they can all get matching tattoos.
And I can tattoo the bands.
Infinity signs on their wrists.
yeah.
That's crazy.
You guys see where this is going?
It's like an ecosystem or something.
Actually, Jared, talk about kind of the thing. It's kind of a collab with you and Jordan with the live.
Oh, I forgot all about that.
We should talk about that.
Yeah.
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 Well, that was it.
There you go.
So we're working on this music video for this band that Jordan recorded. They had taken a kind of a little hiatus during the COVID times, and they weren't doing live shows, and so they were writing new music and had a single that they wanted to release, like really amped on the song. And Jordan recorded it, and it came out great, and it sounds great, really really fun. And then they were basically like, they're like, man, we really want to do a music video for this. And Jordan was like, I got a guy.
Yeah. Happen to know a guy.
And then so we chatted, we figured this out, and the music video came out great, and they were really stoked on it, and so that's really, really fun. And then we started talking, and we're like, dang, dude, we should, like, screw the rest of these guys. Me and you should just do stuff together. Like, this was fun. We should do more of this kind of stuff.
Right.
And so we had the idea of basically bringing bands in, because Jordan has a lot of connections in the music industry. He's, you know, been in a touring band for a long, long time, and
longer than Jonathan, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, for sure.
Yeah, probably.
And then, but yeah, so basically, was bring some bands into the studio and let them do some live sets, and we'll film it and kind of have a whole little YouTube channel thing around, you know, live music.
Yeah, which has been done before, but we've been trying to think of creative, cool ways to make it cooler. Like, Jared's really good with words, so I'm like, dude, let's do like an interview thing. He's like, yeah, but I'm behind the camera. You need to talk to him. I'm like, well, I don't know how to talk. But we're just, we're trying to figure out some cool things to do with it, and
yeah, I mean, those things have been done before. I mean, people have interviewed bands and done live recordings with bands before, but we want to do it our way. And we think we can add something to it. We think we can.
Well, it's just funny because Jared and I watched some like other studios that have done that, and the whole time Jared's like, "This is trash. This video is trash."
Objectively, not even like art, not even like because you know how sometimes the camera angles, Tracy, you shoot, Corey, you've shot some stuff with video, like. Sometimes you get, there's some creative liberties. You've even run a camera, and so it's like there's creative liberties you take where you're like, oh, we'll do this, but like there's some things that are just like, no, that's a rule.
Yeah, like don't miss focus.
Missing focus,
unless like it's obviously like
if you're trying to like do the little like focus breathing look, but like even that, it's like don't overuse those things. But like some of it was just like there's in film. Whenever you're shooting any kind of video, there's a frame that you're supposed to maintain, and so if you have a subject, like I'll try to use mine as an example, like I'm in this. Pretend there's lines across the screen, and they're like split into like thirds. Basically, is what you're doing. So like two separate lines, and I would basically be on a third right now. Whereas, and I'm looking towards where there's a lot of open room ahead of me. But if I'm over here and there's all this blank space behind me, that's wrong.
Yeah.
And it actually subconsciously, whenever you're watching the video, the person that you're watching, it's called short-sighting them, and they feel it makes you give the feeling that like, oh, they're like boxed in, they're trapped, they're not free, like there's something's closing in on them because they don't have any breathing room.
Yeah.
So there's objective things like that of just like those are rules for a reason because the viewer feels something when they see that.
Unless that's the emotion you're trying to convey.
That's what you're trying to do, then great.
They definitely weren't.
But they weren't. They just set up the cameras and hit record.
Yeah.
And it was
fine over there.
White balance was off and was different on all the cameras. Objectively, just not great video work.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
I just think we can do that better.
Yeah, well, and then we'd find some where like the audio was terrible and the video was terrible. And then we'd find one where like the audio sounds great, and then they're doing all this weird camera work, video, and he's like, I don't understand.
Which takes your mind and focus off. Like, I want to hear this. I'm messing with my eyes, so my ears are tuning out.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the golden rule, boys. Let's just do it a little better.
Yeah.
And listen, I'm all for it, and I always recommend to people, look, if you're trying to do something different, if you're trying to start something, just do it. Do it with whatever you have.
Yeah.
Fake it till you make it. Face it till you make it. I like that. It's just like start.
Yeah.
And but these are like big YouTube channels with like big bands coming in. And like, what are y'all doing?
Yeah. And the thing I think you guys do the best, just from watching you guys for so many years, is you find something that just can be improved a little bit. And if you improve it better than the other people are going to come to you for that thing.
Yep.
If you can improve it just by a tiny percentage, and you can show that and show why your product is better, people are going to buy your stuff rather than someone else's.
For sure. And I think that we all have kind of, I mean, like Tracy was talking about it earlier, of like whenever he finds something that he really enjoys, he gets passionate about, and he wants to be great at it, you kind of obsess over it a little bit.
Yeah.
And all of us as creatives kind of fall into that same category when we find that thing. It's like,
I don't obsess about anything.
but you're, you do though on your things that you're passionate about and stuff. Yeah. You have a high intensity focus on those things.
For sure.
And that's
I was gonna say,
that's how you get good
Corey,
at those things.
shut up. You literally uploaded a design every day for an entire year so that you could get better at drawing.
Yeah, I just never identify as a perfectionist. I know a lot of people do that.
No.
A lot of creatives do that, but for me, I'm like, nah, dude.
But I don't think that maybe obsession is a negative connotation with it.
Yeah.
But I understand what you say when you say it. You know, like I said, I think there's a high intensity focus that comes into those things, and that can be positive or negative depending on how you're using that.
It's if anyone's ever heard that being an artist is like a blessing and a curse, it totally is in every aspect of what we're all doing.
Right.
Like,
for sure.
You know, it can be so rewarding, but at the same time, I as an artist, I'm my biggest critic.
Yeah.
Right. So I hate all the stuff that I do,
Right.
even if I love it after I do it. Client's super happy. You know, like it's the best tattoo that I've done up until that point. You know,
Wait a week,
because that keeps on happening as I'm getting better, and then I look at the pictures afterward, stare at them, and then by a couple days later, I'm like, I see so many issues and things that I could have done even better.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, so on one end, like that discontentment drives me to be better because I'm so hard on myself. Yeah. But also it sometimes, like if I fall into that trap too much and overthink, then the line between contentment and complacency gets blurred in my head of like, oh, I should just be happy and with it, and like I'm still getting better, clients are happy, like I have the best job in the world, you know, blah blah blah. But at the same time, I'm like, I freaking hate myself. I'm not good enough, you know what I mean? Just not satisfied.
Sure.
And so it can, you know, blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Because when you do something awesome, you're hyped.
And I've known, I've been friends with a couple artists, like musical artists, that they're on that verge and they passed over from being that obsessive to get better, that they became perfectionists. And being a perfectionist after the fact is okay, because that means you can dive into the details, realize what you did wrong, and improve. But if you're a perfectionist before you post it, upload it, whatever your medium is, or tattoo it onto somebody's body, then it's never going to be seen by anybody, and you're never going to grow in your own skills, and that growth will never be shown. Because when I look back at my old stuff, I'm like, how did that get posted with that issue? Like, I look back at things, I'm like, I didn't erase that part. I didn't delete that outline. I didn't do this thing. And I'm like, well, the reason I did it was because it was done, and I posted it. And now I can look back and see the issues. But I know people who have completely finished albums, mixed, mastered, everything, and then just didn't post them because they sat on them for months and years, and then just deleted them because they just weren't satisfied with it, when they could have posted it, and then the next year when their next album was better, then people would have seen that improvement. And they just couldn't.
Yeah, that applies to me as well. Like the amount of tattoos that are perfectly fine and I don't post them because I'm not happy with them.
Remember, I've been, since John hired me, I was like, yeah, but I don't really have a portfolio. I have a big portfolio. It's just all stuff that I'm like, I don't know. It's not that good. And then, dude, Cody and I listened through some of it the other day, and he's like, dude, this all sounds awesome. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah,
it's what we've been trying to tell you.
Well, it's like when you release something out into the world, like you're now able to stand on top of that thing and like go to the next place. Like you have to put it out there, because it's like when other people interact with it, like it either affirms it or like critiques it. And so you're able to just kind of move past it instead of hoard it. You know, you never want that hoarder mentality, right? You know,
trying to break that crap off my life.
Yeah. And that's what it is. You release it into the world, and then you can stand on top of it and go to the next place.
Well, it's really good.
Yeah, it's also the, we get a lot of designs come in, and our language around here is, it's not my favorite. However, or not even that, just a lot of things in general that we do. Like, say it's like, oh yeah, we'll just post it. Like, hey, that was kind of cool, whatever. But there's one person out there that literally thinks it's the most amazing thing in the world, and we get clients off of that.
For real.
And if we don't post it, then we don't get those extra clients. Or like, again, we have to look at every people that hit us up. They're all in different seasons of life to where, maybe that garage, the people that, it's in a band, all they have is a garage recording that they try to finagle. Your work that's not in a garage, it's decent work. You're not stoked on it, but it's still decent. That could be the most amazing recording that they've ever heard, and they want you to record their next thing, all because you release that, because you let other people hear it. And so that's the same thing across the board with designs. Our shirt, designs that we've printed and stuff like that. I mean, I like to say our prints have gotten better, Jordan. And it's in giving people a better quality print, water-based discharge. Even figuring out the plastisol realm even more. It's like we're just trying to, again, if we don't post it, then people aren't, gonna want to utilize us. And again, I've said this, and I'm still gonna say it. Us doing that only takes one client to change all of our lives. For the recording, one band, one record label listens to one thing that you post that you don't have to like it, but they do. Literally, we're recording, all the bands on that label, So that's the stuff that I think for me as a business owner, it gives is that resounding hope for just each one of these areas, even, tattoos, designs, all of it, to just have that, like, heck yeah. It just takes that one client, and literally all of our lives could be changed.
I mean, that's with the Spare Sleep stuff.
100%.
What did we just do? Oh, the proclamation.
Yeah,
merch
proclamation.
gardens, all that stuff.
Yep.
Like, like merch gardens not merch gardens. Spare Sleeps came in, and now we're printing baby merch for bands that we all grew up loving.
Yeah.
And if you would have been if you would have told 16-year-old me, hey, you're going to print Under Oath merch, I'd be like, you're insane.
Yep.
Yeah.
What all are the bands that you guys are printing for?
Well, we can't say some of them.
Some of them.
we have to keep that on DL. But what we've actually printed that's already out and on people's babies is we've done Under Oath, Mayday Parade, Newfound Glory,
Pierce the Veil.
Yeah.
Pierce the Veil, and I think
that's it right now.
That's all you're allowed to say.
But
right?
This next year is literally insane.
Yeah, I'm super excited for. January, but February is going to be.
John's just waiting for the Beloved merch.
Oh my gosh! Please, for the
It's
love
funny
of God.
for me because when they started printing these, I was like, yeah, I recognize some of those band names. And then Pierce the Veil came up. I was like, that's crazy. And Jonathan was like, oh, I've never listened to music. And I was like, that's what I grew up listening to.
Yeah.
So I'm crossing the generational gap there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember Newfound Glory, and he's like, I don't even know who that is. And Jared's like, are you serious?
Yeah.
He was
Pissed me
not
off,
happy
man.
about it.
Freaking pissed me off.
Not offended though.
No, I wasn't offended by it. I just wanted to rip your face off. It's different. It's a different emotion.
But it was cool with working with Sparrow Sleeps and stuff. Like,
Oh, we also did Taking Back Sunday.
oh,
Sorry,
that's
I
it.
forgot about that one.
Yeah.
I prefer Saturday.
But
You're
we were kind of in that, like, so with Sparrow Sleeps. Shout out Peter and Casey. You guys are the men. Love you guys. Appreciate the work. This is this is.
It's because you were gonna say the man.
Yeah.
But then you realized you
guys
said
are
two
the men.
Yeah. See, I made it work.
manly men.
Manly men. We were finishing up Newfound Glory, and the thing is when they work with these bands and sign these contracts to get licensed merchandise, it's boom. It's like it throws out the deadlines of like typical screen printing. It's like, hey, like we were even so proactive. Like they didn't even have like a contract signed, and we already ordered the garments. Like they were in. We were like.
We had
tagging,
burnt, ready to go.
Yeah, like we have to be on it, and so it adds a new like intense part of the business, which is great. But we just got some cool stuff that we're going to be printing this year, and it's got me again. It was through a network. It was through a friend of Jordan, and that wouldn't happen unless I brought him in to print shirts, to do recording, and then all of our networks that are going to really pay off. So stoked about that.
Do you guys print any dog clothes?
I mean, we can now.
Can you print my dog a hoodie?
Yeah, as long as it's a 12 color.
But I just want one. So it probably won't be
T-shirt
very
Express
much.
is right down the road.
That means we need dog platens.
That's what I was thinking.
I think we have printed a dog thing before. It
It
was for a random band.
Yes. Well, so we printed a dog on a shirt.
Yeah, but I remember folding something and being like, "What the heck
Yes,
is this?"
we did, and it was basically like a onesie, pretty
Yeah.
much. They cut it up to fit a dog.
Yeah.
Only weird people. Wait, Jordan, do you got?
Only on Christmas.
Okay, that's fine.
Oh yeah, yeah. They just get dressed up for Christmas, for special occasions.
But yeah. So segue.
Well, what I was saying is I've been recording a lot of videos.
Yeah.
How did we get here?
Yeah, it always happens. But yeah, so we were doing some music video stuff. We have some plans for the live recording stuff to do with some bands. That's gonna be a lot of fun. I'm excited about that because we think we can do it better.
Yep.
That's how we got there.
Yeah.
That was how we started that whole thing.
Well, and we want to do mini docs in the studio.
Yeah,
'Cause that's Jared's favorite thing ever.
Well, I love it. I think I think people need to tell their stories. You know, I think that
like short film type style.
Yeah, like mini. Yeah, like I want to do it like an actual documentary, but just make them like 5 to 10 minutes long. You know, just like a little mini thing that's like just a cool way to like let the band tell their story. You know, I would love to do this for just other people. We have an idea to do this for some print shops too.
Yep.
You know, I love that medium. I love that form of storytelling. Being able to show it that way. It's a lot of fun, and I think you can dive into it's I don't know, in an interview you only get so much, you know, when you just sit down and talk to somebody.
Yeah.
When you spend time, documentary filmmaking is just, it's longer. You know, it takes a lot longer time to accomplish because you're spending more time with that person, and you do several interviews and you get a lot of stuff from their past, and and you can just tell their story at a deeper level, and I just think that's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing to watch.
Yeah.
And so it's a really fun thing to make as well.
I feel like something like that would mix a bunch of different styles of film. Like it would be a mix of interview, day in the life footage, like / vlogging, B-roll. You know, like them just doing what they do.
Yeah.
Telling their story while they're doing what they do.
Right. Yeah, and it makes you exercise a lot of the different muscles, the different styles and stuff, and but yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think it's a cool way to tell stories, and it's a form that's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
People have been doing that for a long time, and
We're just gonna do it better.
well, that's the goal. There's a lot of really, really good documentaries out there, but I think that would be a fun thing to be able to offer, you know, to some bands and stuff, and like, hey, we'll like follow your whole process of making this record.
Well, dude, even you were just talking about how you've never been a part of that, like in a studio,
and it was so much fun.
right? So like the casual fan that likes a band,
Exactly.
they get to see that in-depth stuff. Like, dude, I always look back at records that like changed my life, and I'm like, I wish I could have been there.
Right.
I wish I could have seen how they were doing this, or like that take that vocalist did.
Well,
I wish that was on film so I could see it.
Yeah.
I remember the album that did that for me, and they had a DVD that came with the album that showed that whole studio process was Under
it
Oath to Find the Great Line.
I was literally just about to say that.
Yeah, and
That
that was
did it for me.
They were my favorite band.
Yep.
And then they came out with that, which made me feel like I was in the studio with them. And I got to watch Tim play that riff, and then him go, "No, that was trash.
Yeah.
Let me do another one." He's like, "That's the one that goes on the record, and that's the one I get to hear on that opening song." It's just, it was like for a young fan, that was just such a moment of like really cool.
Or what about like with Spencer? Like it just, his screams were so freaking high. Like he was so diverse in that. Like it's like you hear all these, you know, metal bands that's like, man, always focusing on the lower mid screams and this and that. And Spencer's are just super high, sounds so good. And then he's just like drops this freaking low of like, dude, are you kidding me?
Well, that was I remember when Define the Great Line first dropped, and I was like,
Oh my gosh.
bro, that's so much heavier. It felt so much heavier, and they didn't really change a lot. They just,
But dude, like, so that documentary, awesome, right?
Yeah, it was.
I grew
really
up
good.
loving it, and I remember being like, to work with those people would be awesome. And then I got to work with Matt Goldman, at that studio, and play those guitars, and then like that came full circle for me, and I was like, this is so cool.
Yeah, you were telling me that story of like you going into the studio and seeing like the albums on the wall of like these bands that you really looked up to, and then literally playing the same guitar that they recorded to find the great line.
But it's cool though because we can capture that same thing, and then people come work with us and get to have that same experience,
same moments. Yeah,
which I mean, hopefully, let's have a bunch of gold records on my wall.
Come on,
let's
baby, let's go.
Do people even go gold anymore? Do people even sell records anymore?
I think it's how many
TikToks. People use CDs now.
This new technology,
We're on the
CDs are
cassette
taking off.
players now.
Well, speaking of gold records, we talked about the Golden Boys initiative a little bit last time we had a podcast.
Yeah.
We are going to what?
Dumbest transition.
That was a great transition.
I thought it was smooth.
It was better than referencing it.
Speaking of gold.
All right. Anyway.
Speaking of the word gold, that's basically what he did.
Yeah.
Golden Press Studio. Oh, what a unique name.
All right. You do it then. Close-ups on you.
All right, here we go, guys.
Talk about the
so
golden
anyway,
records. We're breaking records with the Golden Boy Initiative.
Oh, now that's a transition, baby.
So anyway, coming up next year in January, we are going to be doing more Golden Press or Golden Boys Initiative stuff. We're going to be we have a collab already in the works.
Yep.
We've already started talking about it. We've got a plan where we're going to team up with another print shop, and we're going to make something really cool. We're going to sell that thing. All the proceeds are going to go to a shop that needs the money or a piece of equipment specifically. We're going to see what we can get to really hook up a shop. And we're going to start doing more of those kind of things. That's really one of the big focuses for the podcast moving into next year. We really wanted to do more of that this year. Our transition into the second studio and the auto really put a huge wrinkle in that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's coming up. We're really excited about it. We want to get back on track with that. We hate that we had to take so much time off from it.
Yeah, but we pulled out our smooth tool and put a blur on that wrinkle.
There you go.
You can't see it anymore.
Yeah, so real quick, I want to talk about these two other things, and then we close this bad boy up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it's almost lunchtime.
yeah,
I gotta pee.
It's almost time for me to leave.
we got a meeting at 12. So
we need to wrap up then.
So other thing that's going to grow in 2023 is our design department. We're going to get Zeki Boy cranking on some designs. We need some other designers in the house, just helping with prepping artwork and just doing all the awesome things we want to do on a regular basis, but also being able to meet our new clients' needs, different style, and not everybody loves traditional tattoo designs.
Idiots.
So dumb.
Still gonna be washing out screens though.
Yeah. But, which I've been stoked on, just the opportunity to just like train up Zek and learning how to prep artwork and showing him how to navigate a clipping mask when people love to use them. You just watch my videos. I tell you how to not use a clipping mask.
Yeah.
But I've been training him in that, as well as empowering him to, hey, let's put some of your designs on things. Let's keep refining your design skills, which also opens up my time to do a little more tattooing or do just more designs for clients and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. And we're also going to bring in good old buddy Zach.
Zach.
Planet.
Not Zach.
Planet, aka Planet.
AKA Planet.
Yeah.
He's a screen printer. He's a designer. He does some murals and some just cool stuff. But I'm going to kind of bring him in to kind of alleviate some screen printing, pressure off of Jordan so he can record more and he's just a good dude to fill in and help out in some areas. But yeah, it's going to be cool. The design department's going to look different. It's going to be cool. Hopefully be able to bust out some new kind of digital assets. Just stuff. We got a lot of stuff in store, but that's going to be really tight. And then lastly, just as far as like our focus in this coming year, which is a thing I'm really, really excited about. I've kind of stepped into it a little bit, but this is just like the start of what we're going to do. But I want to, if you're listening and you love what we do and you love how we've done it and how we've built this business.
If you're still listening.
We're opening up for all of us here at Golden Press to do some coaching and some mentorship even. It's really cool how it's all kind of came about, but like, you know, the reason why we started the YouTube channel is to teach people, right? To teach people, to help them out. And you know, how many cool messages and, you know, that we've received I watched that video and literally it helped me. Like, and when the reason why we did that video was so that people wouldn't struggle and all the problem shooting and all the struggle, you know, that we all went through. Right. And so, another tool that we're able to use and that we're going to be offering is just teaching people and coaching people, to where you guys can schedule, you know, coaching calls with Jared, Jordan. I mean, again, we don't know if there's going to be, we're just going to offer it for every area. And if it blows up, it blows up. If not, then, you know, hopefully people, you know, will just see us as a resource. Right. But Corey's going to be offering coaching. I'm going to be offering coaching. And, we're really excited about that. I've already behind the scenes have kind of done some coaching, but even some consulting I'm going to be hopefully going out to some shops, helping people with processes, how to run a business, how to run an actual, you know, studio or shop. Here recently, I'll just give a shout out to Meshed Up Printing. They're a shop that's been around for about a year. And they're out in Arizona, and no joke, they've hit me up a few times and just, you know, some coaching classes. And I take time. It's actually one of my favorite things to do as of now, is just being able to talk shop, but also knowing that my time is valuable. And they gladly hit me up, and we do some coaching. Yesterday, no joke, and just to share a little bit about our call, but I just helped them troubleshoot some just issues in their darkroom. And in an hour call, literally they're like, "Oh yeah, you fix that. Like, you help that. I'm no longer having that issue." And I'm like, "Wow, that's so cool that, you know, I was able to offer that." And again, it keeps me as a coach, you know, keeps me, you know, the pressure on me. I need to continue to learn. I need to be a sponge. I need to soak up new knowledge so that I can continue to give. I'm really excited. First of the year, we're going to be promoting some coaching and laying out the kind of what that looks like for the business. And so if you're listening to this and you're interested,
I'm sure they're interested.
If you're interesting, we'll take you on.
Yeah, hopefully you're interesting.
No, if you're interested in that, please send us a DM, send us a message, email. Contact us, and we'll get that going.
Yeah. And I can say from firsthand that you guys are very good at, like, not just coaching, oh, here's the product that you want, but like the principles you need to have to reach that.
Yeah.
Because I can think about all the times throughout like the last 3 years of me designing stuff that I've talked to Jared or Corey, and they've not just been like, oh, change this one thing. They've been like, how much are you charging people? Yeah. And like actually caring about my process and my business and growing that, and growing me as a person, and not just like, well, here's how to do this. And there's things you can't learn from just a YouTube video or asking a question in the comment section or shooting a DM. There's things you actually have to sit down with someone and have a conversation about.
Right.
And our goal is like, it's like, sure, everyone in the world could just hire us because we're good at what we do or whatever. Like, I think we are good at what we do, but we are firm believers in empowering people that to do what they're called to do what they want to do. And it's like the same, like, I've hopped on calls with people where I sat down with them for an hour and they were like, all right, this is the artwork that the client sent over. Show me how to prep it and get it ready to screen print. And I'm like, all right, so we're going to jump into Illustrator, and they're sharing their screen with me, and then we're figuring it out together. And it's like, sure, they could have hired me and paid me $75, and I would have just prepped the artwork for them and sent it over to them. But it's like the whole, teach a man to fish or give a man a fish. Like we want to empower people to be like, dude, I can run my business more effectively. And it's like, hey, we're available. So let's hop on a call together. Let's teach you something. Let's work together and empower you to be a very successful designer, printer, videographer, music creator. What is your title?
Audio engineer.
Oh, he's an engineer.
Or producer or whatever.
Oh, he's a movie producer.
But it's like what they say, give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. Don't teach a man to fish. Fishing's not that hard.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of crazy though, because like with all the creative things that I've done in the past, I'll watch a tutorial like 5 times to try and get a concept of something, and it's still there. Either I get lost along the way, or there were so many steps I can't remember how to get there, and it's like somehow it still is not getting through to me. If I'm watching this tutorial over and over again, there's something I'm missing. It's just not connecting. And so actually, like, there's been times, even when I was learning to do music production or a video production, I would hit people up that I knew who knew how to do this stuff. And I'd be like, dude, I just need you to sit down with me and show me how to do it. I need to watch you do it and take me through it. And somehow can be different than a tutorial.
Well, that's exactly like with tattooing. Dude, I've watched I've watched this multiple of these how to do perfect lines in tattooing, and like watching these videos, watching the same video, watching it while I'm doing it. And like early on I was like, dude, I suck. Like I cannot draw a good line. And it was like, man, I wish I could just get better. And then like literally sat down with you, and you were like, oh, try holding your machine like this, and like literally like a slight shift of my machine, and as well as like asking like, oh, hey, where should like this be pointed? And you're like, oh yeah, I always keep it like this. Like those 2 little things. And then like the next line I pulled, I was like, oh wow, I pulled a good line.
Yeah.
I haven't been doing that this entire time. And it was, that's just like the value of being with another human and not just watching a video. So that's what we're trying to offer. We're trying to offer some coaching to you guys, and jumping into it this next year.
Yeah. And here's the thing. We're going to give so much value, like here's the switch is we've been doing coaching for years.
Yeah.
It's just the fact of now, like we've, and we have so much free content, and we have all these things. We're going to always continue to do that. But like we want to be more intentional. And so intentionality is like, we just, time is money, and we need some money, and
it's a great transition, John.
You've got time. You've got money.
No, it's just, we really do. The focus is we want to help people.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can schedule time with us, and it'll be cool.
Well, man, yeah. So we're doing coaching. We're stoked on it, and we'd love to see you guys there. And speaking of seeing you guys there, this is the end. We've prolonged this podcast as long as we possibly could.
Episode 14.
Shut up, Zach.
It's 14, right?
13.
So it's not 14. The joke will end this year, or I will end Zach.
So we'll see you there. We'll see you in the air. And we'll ARF on you in another podcast, little doggies. We'll see you there. ARF.
Why did we let him do that?
ARF?
And then it goes.
Thank you guys for listening.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Kisses.
Yeah, I'd like to thank all my special guests for being on my podcast today. I'm excited for where this company's going.
Tracy's killed the impression of me.
There you go.